Have you ever had the feeling that something isn't quite right? You look around, you see the world they've built for us, and you can't shake the sense that the game is rigged. They tell you it's a democracy. They tell you that your vote matters, that you have a say in how your country is run. But do you really believe that? Look at the people in charge. Do they seem like they care about you? Or do they seem like a class of people completely separate from you, living by a different set of rules, in a world you'll never be invited into? This feeling isn't paranoia. It's the beginning of waking up. It's the realization that a small, insulated group of elites might be pulling the strings from behind a curtain, making decisions that benefit them, and only them, while the rest of us are left to deal with the consequences. It's a simple question, but one they don't want you to ask. Who benefits? When you see policies that make no sense for the average person, policies that make your life harder, your family less secure, and your future less certain, you have to ask that question. These aren't accidents. They aren't mistakes made by well-meaning but incompetent leaders. They are often deliberate choices. A hidden elite, a permanent class in Washington, in London, in Brussels, sees the world not as a home for billions of people, but as a chessboard. And you're just a pawn in their game. They move you around, sacrifice you when needed, all to protect their own power, their own wealth, and their own twisted vision for the future. They laugh at your values. They mock your faith. They despise your very existence. Consider the evidence that's right in front of your face. They tell you to tighten your belt while they fly on private jets to climate conferences. They tell you to trust the experts, but those same experts change their stories every other week, always in a way that seems to grant them more control over your life. They create problems, chaos at the border, skyrocketing inflation, collapsing infrastructure, and then they present themselves as the only ones who can solve them. It's a classic strategy. Break something, and then charge everyone to fix it. This isn't just happening in America, it's a global phenomenon, a connected network of powerful people who attend the same conferences, sit on the same corporate boards, and share the same goal, a world managed by them, for them. The truth is, this isn't a conspiracy theory, it's an observation. It's what you see when you turn off the television they use to hypnotize you, and just look at the world with your own eyes. You see that the people who claim to be our leaders have more in common with each other, regardless of what country they're from, than they do with their own citizens. They are a club, and you are not in it. Their priorities are not your priorities. They are concerned with abstract global initiatives and accumulating more power, while you are concerned with paying your mortgage, keeping your children safe, and preserving the way of life you were promised. They see you as an obstacle, a problem to be managed, but more and more people are starting to see them for what they are. Let's talk about the rules. In a fair society, the law applies to everyone equally, but that's not the world we live in, is it? We live in a world where the powerful write laws for the rest of us that they themselves have no intention of following. They create complex tax codes, with loopholes so vast that their friends in multinational corporations can pay a lower tax rate than you do. They pass laws that hurt small businesses, the backbone of our country, while their allies on Wall Street get bailouts, whenever their reckless bets go wrong. This is the architecture of their control. They create a system where it's impossible for an ordinary person to get ahead through hard work and honesty, because the entire structure is designed to funnel wealth and power upwards into their hands. Think about the things that should be simple and free. The roads you drive on, for instance. You pay taxes for them to be built and maintained. So why are they crumbling? Why are you hitting the same potholes year after year? Because the money meant for that infrastructure gets siphoned off. It goes to politically connected contractors who do shoddy work for twice the price. It goes to absurd beautification projects that no one asked for. It's a transfer of wealth from you to them. They make the rules, and the first rule is that their friends always get paid. You are just the cash machine that funds their schemes. They have made the basic functions of a civilized society into a profit center for themselves and their cronies. This extends to every part of your life. They want to control what you eat, what you think, and what you teach your children. They push bizarre ideologies in schools while basic reading and math scores plummet. Why? Because an educated, independent population is a threat to their power. A population that is confused, divided, and dependent is much easier to control. They want you to be so busy arguing with your neighbor about some meaningless cultural issue that you don't notice them robbing you blind. It is the oldest trick in the book Divide and Conquer, and they are masters of it. They use their friends in the media to amplify the division, to make you hate your fellow citizens, all so you stay distracted from the real enemy. The most infuriating part is the hypocrisy. The same people who want to disarm you live in gated communities with private security. The same people who tell you to sacrifice for the climate own multiple mansions on the coast. They don't believe in the rules they impose on you. The rules are not for them. The rules are a tool, a weapon to keep you in your place. They are a modern aristocracy, and they believe it is their birthright to rule over you. They see your desire for freedom not as a noble right, but as a childish inconvenience. Understanding this two-tiered system is the first step to dismantling it. It's not a system of law, it's a system of power. The policies of this hidden elite aren't just abstract economic theories, they have a real devastating human cost. Look at our communities, look at how they have been hollowed out. They talk about compassion, but their actions create misery. One of the most sinister examples is how they allow criminals to flourish. They push for policies that let violent offenders back onto the streets. Why would they do that? Because a society living in fear is a society that will beg for more control. But there's an even darker side. In the chaos they create, predators find opportunities. We see this in the heartbreaking stories of children being exploited, tricked into lives of crime, sometimes even selling drugs. How does this happen? It happens when a society loses its moral compass, a process actively encouraged by the people in charge. They tell you that good and evil are relative concepts. They tear down the institutions, like family and church, that once provided a strong foundation for children. In the void that's left, evil people step in. These criminals, who are often just the lowest-level enforcers of a much larger network, target vulnerable kids. They offer them a sense of belonging, of power, of money, things that are missing in the broken communities the elites have created. They turn innocent children into tools for their own wicked enterprises, destroying young lives before they have even truly begun. This is not some random tragedy, it is a direct consequence of a society that has been deliberately destabilized from the top. The leaders who allow this to happen, the ones who look the other way, are complicit. They are more interested in appearing virtuous to their friends at cocktail parties than in protecting the most vulnerable members of our society. They will wring their hands and talk about root causes, but they are the root cause. Their policies create the despair that drug dealers exploit. Their neglect creates the danger. Their indifference allows the suffering to continue. When a child is tricked into selling drugs, it's not just a failure of that child's environment. It's a failure of our entire leadership class, a class that has abandoned its most basic duty: to protect the innocent. They have blood on their hands. This is the world they are building. A world where the strong prey on the weak, where children are not safe, and where basic morality is seen as an outdated prejudice. An unsafe road might cost you your car. An unsafe society costs you your children. It costs you your future. They don't care, because their children are protected. Their children go to private schools, live behind high walls, and will never have to walk through the dangerous streets that their parents' policies have created for everyone else. This is the stark reality of the two-tiered society they have engineered. One set of dangers for your family, and a world of safety and privilege for theirs. It is easy to look at the scale of this deception and feel hopeless. That is what they want. They want you to believe you are powerless, that resistance is futile. But that is the biggest lie of all. The truth is, their entire system is built on our complicity. It can only function as long as we remain silent, distracted, and obedient. The moment we decide to see through their lies, to question everything they tell us, their power begins to crumble. The first and most important act of rebellion is to think for yourself. Turn off their news channels. Talk to your neighbors. Trust your own instincts. You know when you are being lied to. We can also take practical steps to make our world safer and fairer, starting from the ground up. Take the issue of road safety. We don't need to wait for corrupt politicians to act. Imagine a simple solution. Every car is equipped with a camera, a dash cam. This technology exists and is cheap. It would instantly create accountability. Accidents wouldn't be a matter of he said, she said. Insurance fraud would plummet. More importantly, it would deter the kind of reckless behavior that puts everyone at risk. This isn't about government surveillance, it's about citizens using technology to protect themselves from a system that has failed to. It's a small step, but it's a step towards taking back control. This principle can be applied everywhere. We need to build our own parallel institutions, our own networks of information and our own communities based on truth and mutual support. When they lie, we must relentlessly expose the truth. When they try to divide us, we must come together. We need to support the journalists and thinkers who are brave enough to speak out, the ones who are not on the payroll of the elite. We need to build a culture that values courage over conformity and truth over comfort. Their greatest fear is a population that is united and informed. That is the one thing their money cannot buy and their power cannot crush. There is hope. In fact, there is more than hope. There is an obligation. Good people have a duty to stand up to evil. The darkness of their world can seem overwhelming, but a single candle can illuminate an entire room. We must be those candles. By seeking the truth, by protecting our families, by rebuilding our communities, and by refusing to be afraid, we can make a difference. The tide is turning. People are waking up. Their phony world is beginning to crack. If we stand together, if we have the courage to fight for what is right, we can build a better world. A world of truth, freedom, and justice for all, not just for a select few. The future is not yet written.